Hi, and welcome to Behind the Brush. I'm your host, TJ Phelps. Today, we are going to have an intimate conversation with model turned fitness extraordinaire, Candice Stephens. So grab your cocktail and join me on the couch. Love and dreams, believe you can soar. Life. So Candice, how long have you been here in LA?
I've been in LA for about 8 years. I started coming out here when I was about 10, and I always knew that I wanted to be in LA. So when I turned 18, I packed my bags and I moved out here and figured it out along the way.
When you were a kid back in Milwaukee, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was a kid, I initially wanted to go to the Olympics. I was very active, physical. I wanted to be in gymnastics, so I did that for about 5 years. And then probably when I was like 9, I kind of like slowed down with it. And then one day, my dad had called and said that he wanted to send me to LA. He just said there was more to see than what Wisconsin had to offer. Once I came to LA, loved it. I was like, I'm coming back here. So I flew back to Wisconsin, and I would just every day write in a journal. California, draw palm trees, Hollywood stars. Like I knew I was something, like I just felt it. So when I was 18, I packed all my stuff and moved to LA because my mom wanted me to do so before then. Came out here, started working and just meeting people and trying to get connected. And it just kind of, everything just started falling into place. I mean, it took a long time. There was a lot of lows, like low lows where the average would have gave up and went home. But I was like, nope, if I have to live out of my car, I'm not going back to Wisconsin.
Wow. So what was the lowest point, would you say, on your journey here in LA?
My lowest point probably was when I first moved out here, because I moved in with my aunt and I stayed with her for about 4 months, and then she ended up going through a divorce and she was left with like nothing. So she's like, I can't take care of you, I can't help you. You need to either go back home or make your own way. Like, I only been out here for 4 months. So I was like, okay. I ended up moving in with my cousin. I slept on her floor.
Wow.
She gave me 1 month. That's all I got was 1 month.
Wow.
1 month came, I was out. And then I had moved to Long Beach, but I was working in LA.
Wow,
Stayed
that's a
there
drive.
for 2 months. Then I moved in with my uncle's girlfriend.
Wow.
Lived with her for 2 months. Like, I was bouncing around for like the whole year. But the whole time I was telling my parents, everything's fine. Everything's great. Everything's fine. So
Wow.
Then finally I met a guy, started staying with him. And then I finally got sick of that, and I met someone else who was just ended up becoming like a really, really, my best friend to this day.
Wow.
Moved in with him and stayed with him until I was able to kind of get it together. And after that, it was kind of, I became more steady in my...
Stable. Excellent. Now, let me ask you this. When you're that low, and we've all been there, and especially those of us who come from someplace else to LA. LA is a hard city to be in. But a lot of people go home. A lot of people, and I always say a lot of people have 2 choices or 3 choices. You either suck it up and deal with it and you fight your way, you pack it up and go home, or you end up in a cardboard box on the streets. What was it that kept you going? What made you stay and fight?
I tried to vision life like I had no one. It was just me. Like, going home was not an option. That's how I had to think of it. Like, there's no Wisconsin, I have no family. Like, it's just me, so I gotta figure it out. If I have to work 3 jobs, I have to figure it out. And that's what made me kind of push. I mean, because I know at any moment I could just, I've been here for 8 years. My mom still calls me every day. You coming home? When you coming home? I'm like, Mom, it's been 8 years. I'm not coming home. I'll be back to visit, you know? So it's just like, this is my life. I feel like I waited my whole life to be here, and I'm here. So I'm not gonna just let it go like that.
Love
easy.
Love that. That's the fighter in you. Now, when I met you, you were modeling. You had a very successful modeling career. You were doing some acting, very successful in that also. And then I find out you're like a Miss Fitness because you have a great body, super active, very fit. What happened, model turned fitness extraordinaire?
It's funny that I was able to transition from the model to fitness because when I was originally growing up, I told you I was so physical. So for me to come back to this, it kind of just happened because I had actually started gaining weight. I think I don't know if I was going through depression or what, but I was just eating out all the time. Breakfast, McDonald's. Lunch, McDonald's. Dinner, McDonald's. Snack, McDonald's. You know?
I've been there. I'm still there, but it's okay.
So one day I was walking down the street and this guy pulled up. He was a friend of mine and I was attracted to him. And he saw me walking away and he was like, "Candice," and I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Are your legs rubbing together?" And I was like, and I looked down and I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? But at that time I was trying to model. So I'm like, okay. And like my pictures were just like not right. I'm just like, and I was trying to see like what I needed to do. So I got a trainer, joined the gym, and then I loved working out so much. I mean, I had to make myself love it, but it just worked for me and I just ran with it. And then all of a sudden, you know, over the course of years, people would start just coming to me like, "Wow, like you've transitioned." Like, I mean, things that I didn't notice, other people noticed. And finally it got to the point where people started, "Well, can you train me? Can you train me?" Yeah, why not? And then I started planning the whole fitness class. Like, I want to do a boot camp. It was just a vision a year ago. And then I was like, you know what? Let me post this on Facebook. Today I am having a class, and the response was amazing.
And that's one thing that I noticed. I met you on set, and we'd worked together a number of times, and I'd seen your body from the first time I met you to another time that I met you, and I was astonished by the changes. But the changes were so natural and they fit your frame, but you never looked like you were starving. I'm going to ask you a very personal question. And have you ever had an eating disorder?
I can honestly say I've never had an eating disorder. If you constitute overeating or eating a lot or loving food as an eating disorder, then yes, I do. I love food. I'm from Wisconsin. We eat good.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so that's why I had to I work out so hard to kind of maintain the balance. That way I can still kind of eat what I want to eat.
You can enjoy what you like to eat, but you're still healthy and fit. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
You know, making some substitutions and cutting out a few things, but other than that, I mean, I have a pretty good diet.
What's the one thing that you cut out that you miss?
The one thing that I cut out that I miss, I would have to say sodas. I could drink a whole case of sodas a day.
A day? Wow.
I'm serious. Me and sodas were no joke. And mind you, sodas have about 150 calories per can. Wow. So if you're drinking 7-8 cans of sodas a day, that's a whole lot.
That's a lot of calories.
A lot.
Wow.
So, and I really don't, honestly now, since it's been a couple of years, I really don't miss it. Because when I do try to go back and even take a sip, it's just like, it's really harsh, you know, like, so I'm happy.
Wow. Well, that's great, Candice. So, Candice, you, like I, have moved to LA kind of on the spur of the moment. Did you follow a boy to LA?
When I moved to LA, there was no following anyone but my dreams. I left my boyfriend behind, and it was for the best.
Excellent. So now that you've been in LA a while, what's your love life like? What's the dating situation like?
Right now, currently, I am single, but I do have friends. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't want anything serious. Like, I like the feeling of peace. You know, not having to run home or answer the phone, you know. Because I'm always in a relationship. And right now, for the last maybe 2 years, I've been single.
Wow.
So, and I think I kind of like it.
Do you see yourself having a husband and children in the future?
Honestly, I really don't want a husband and I really don't want kids.
Wow. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I do want to adopt though.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Excellent. How many?
Maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3. That's good. That's good.
I've always believed in adoption, so.
That's excellent. Now, since you've been dating in LA, and it sounds like you like your freedom, is there a reason you like your freedom? Have you run into some dogs, lizards, snakes, and, other wildlife?
Into all of the above, so, and after being in a relationship for so long or kind of back to back, it's like now that I'm able to be out and just explore what there is to offer in other states, other places, other countries. I'm having fun. I feel like I'm 18 all over again.
Wow, that's good. Nothing wrong with that. That's good. You know what? I want to ask you some more questions about modeling. We've talked about the fitness. Modeling in LA is a hard business. There are a lot of creepies and creepos. Have you ever run into some shiesty business practices out here in the modeling industry?
Since I've been modeling, I've run into so many weirdos. It's hard to know what you're dealing with until you actually go into the situation. That's why I always suggest never go alone. I remember I went to one casting call and I was like, am I gonna die? Like, I was so scared. And it was like, I don't know, I felt like I was in a movie.
Wow.
And he was so nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous? I don't know, but people just need to be careful from what they respond to as far as Craigslist, random emails, even like little stuff they get in the magazines for casting calls. Just be careful and always have someone with you.
Wow, that's great advice. I've run into some of those situations also where I've wondered why girls showed up on this set not knowing who the photographer was and what type of setting they're in. I mean, as a makeup artist, it's usually pretty safe for me.
Right.
But I've seen models and I'm like, if I were a model, I wouldn't come here by myself. This guy's a creepo. We're in the back of a God knows what building, and it's dangerous. Now, tell me about one of your favorite modeling success stories.
One of my favorite modeling success stories, I would have to say, probably when I did Show magazine, only because I was able to kind of feel like I was in an alter ego moment. Like, I was able to pick out my wardrobe. They had, the set was totally professional. I mean, the pictures were beautiful, and it was sold all over the United States too, that magazine was. So I was able to get a lot of exposure out of it. I looked good. It wasn't cheap. I was able to call my dad, like, Dad, you can look at this, and, it was a good moment.
Wow. Now, since you have a huge fan base in the modeling world, because you've done some great, what I like to call sexy glamour photos, have you ever run into any stalkers or stalkerazzis, as I like to call them?
Have I run into any stalkers? Yes. The fact that from Show magazine, I put my information in, just my email. I get so many prison emails.
That's scary.
The only thing is the administration lets you know that they're trying to contact you, and you can opt out or say yes. So then there's been one guy in particular, he found me on MySpace through prison. He's in prison. Then when I started going to MySpace, he found me on Facebook. And, he would talk to me like, we're really gonna be together. Like, Candice, I'll be out soon. I miss you. I can't wait to meet you. Can I come to LA? Can we be together? I mean,
hell no!
Mind you, I did Show magazine in 2007. It's 2011.
That's scary.
And you are still, it's crazy.
That's scary. So how do you handle something like that? Like, you know, do you let them down easy? Do you call the cops and put out an APB on Scary Man? Like, what do you do?
I just figure I'm in LA and they're not here, and they probably could never really find me in person. So I figure, as long as it's internet, I mean, they can't come through the internet and get me. So I don't really go too much into it.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. So if there was a girl out there getting ready to do her magazine layout for show, what bit of modeling advice would you give her?
If there was a girl about to do show magazine, or any magazine rather, I would tell her just have fun, be silly too. I love being silly sexy, you know, because it will make your awkward moments not as awkward. Or if you feel uncomfortable or feel like you're doing something wrong, it's like, just have fun with it. And don't do anything you're not comfortable doing. You know, try to have some type of control, or you'll end up with a product that you're like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to see that.
That's one thing that I've noticed about you. You've never done any nudes. You do implied nudes, or like, you know, it's always sexy and sophisticated. You've never done nudes. Would you ever do nudes?
I would never do nudes. I have a father, and as long as I have to call him and he has to see it, I would never want him to see me naked. So I'm like, no, I can't do that. And why? I think it's so much more appealing when something is left to the imagination.
Excellent. I definitely agree with you on that. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers to your goals and dreams, girl.
Life, love, and